Welcome to the year-end edition of the Commissioner's Report. This program is a look back at 2018, some of the highlights and guests, and of course the topics and issues featured on the Commissioner's Report. There were several changes this past year. Key individuals who were part of the show have left us, such as Kevin Watler, our former host. Former District 4 Commissioner Todd Dantzler termed out and was replaced by our new County Commissioner Sandra Santiago. And former District 2 Commissioner Melanie Belle was replaced by new Commissioner Rick Wilson. We want to thank all of those who have left for their service and the time they devoted to Polk County and this program. We look forward to hearing from the new commissioners early on in 2019. Our 2018 retrospective will start with Board Chairman Todd Dantzler, who introduced us to Miss Florida, Sarah Zhang, who spoke about her experiences, and they discussed the financial benefits of the Miss Florida pageant and its effect on Polk County. Commissioner Dantzler met with Lieutenant Bill Bonner from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Aviation Operations Unit. They discussed NOAA's Hurricane Hunter aircraft and their new home at Lakeland Linder Airport. And we met with Paul Scholes, owner of Outback Oasis, and saw art, butterflies, kangaroos, and more. Commissioner Dantzler, what do you mean kangaroos?
Paul's got a couple of kangaroos out there at the property, and they're kind of the logo of the Outback Oasis. And the legend is that he won them in a craps game in Texas. And I'm not sure if you want to expound on that and tell us how you really acquired them, or it's an urban legend. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we're blessed to have commissioners that are fun and full of personality and good jokesters, friendly, curious, photogenic, all those things. And so I was challenged at the time. Well, why don't I get kangaroos? And I thought about it. So when I came back to the States, sure enough, on Google you can look up. You can find someone who breeds about anything. So I found breeders in Texas and flew them over. My oldest one, Joey, he's now 9, and Ozzy is about 5, but I flew them over as babies and raised them on a bottle. And they're neutered male red kangaroos, and red kangaroos are among the largest kangaroo species, but also the most iconic. They have the beautiful classic shape. But besides being just extraordinary pets, the truth is, if more people had access to kangaroos, everybody'd want one, I think. They're just such a hook with kids as far as the wonder of nature. That Outback Oasis is a celebration of the wonder and beauty of nature. The kangaroos overachieve at being the wonder of nature. And as far as the beauty of nature, my 10 acres, it's Outback Oasis, is laced with butterfly plants. So I would argue, the highest density of butterflies in Polk County in that space. And then in addition to the butterflies, of course, I have heavy vegetation, including some really exceptional botanical plants. I have a double cabbage palm, our state tree. And it's very rare in nature. There's only so many of them known in the state, and I have one. And then I have an old ponytail palm that looks like the Lorax tree from Dr. Seuss, which again is perfect. If you talk about conservation and extinction and bad land use practices, well, there's a Lorax tree. Yeah. And I have another palm tree that was a huge reclinata date palm that I call Medusa. Many botanical wonders that are at Outback Oasis. It's not just the usual suspects with the landscaping. It is truly an eclectic mix of exotics and natives.
So where is Outback Oasis going?
Well, it's a work in progress. Where I'd like to see it go is that it'll become our local Bach Tower. Coincidentally, I don't have a tower. I'm not going to have a tower. However, I do have something extraordinary. Ken Treaster, who's in our midst, he's a retired architect who designed most of the Miami skyline. He designed the Holocaust Memorial in Miami, and he was friends with Frank Lloyd Wright, and was with him back in the day when he was in Florida doing the Florida Southern. And Ken Treaster has fallen in love with Outback Oasis, and he designed a structure that we call the Nautilus. It's made out of Ipe wood, and it describes a Euclidean formula in nature that's a mathematical formula for spirals. Oh. And so we call it the Nautilus, because the Nautilus is an example of a spiral in nature, just as other...
And it's a really cool thing. It's not any bigger than this room, but depending on which time of day where the sunlight falls, the light's different inside of it. I mean, it's a very simple yet incredibly complicated design all in one piece. And so what we're trying to do is build participation of the audience to come out and support the program. It's a wonderful program, and that's what I've been trying to do along with Sarah. Is we're working hard to make the program bigger and better and to fill up the audience. I think we had close to 2,000 people last year in the audience at the Mahaffey Theater and RP Funding Center. But getting to know Courtney from last year, Sarah from this year, two incredible representatives of the pageant world. They do fantastic work charity-wise, and they're outstanding representatives of the community and of the pageant itself.
We have 5 phases of competition, and there's the interview. It's a 10-minute press-style conference interview with about 5 judges that can ask you absolutely anything. Then there's the lifestyle and fitness competition, the evening gown competition, an onstage question, and talent. And that's obviously my favorite one, as I've been a pianist since I was 5 years old. But the whole pageant is all about empowering women and giving women the chance to achieve their scholastic dreams.
Very good. Now, when I looked up some of your information, it said that your platform was Music Matters. What is a platform? What does that mean?
Yes, so that's one of the components to be eligible for being in the Miss Florida pageant. And you write a platform statement, and it's basically a service project, anything that you care really deeply about. And music has been a part of my life for so long that I wanted to give back in that way. So I go into schools and talk about the importance of music and try to help schools that don't have the resources find the funds and the resources to have music in their classrooms.
Nice. Now, we know that when budget cuts are discussed, arts programs are usually discussed along with that. So let me ask you a question. If you have been receiving music instruction since you were 5, what are the tangible benefits that you've seen from that, and has music opened any doors for you?
Absolutely. Music has changed my entire course of life. It helped me become the performer I am, the spokesperson that I am. It gave me so many opportunities to be in front of people. So now I have more confidence than I ever did. I have no problem getting up in front of people, and I've learned so much from it.
Nice. Now, your degree is in education?
Yes, music education. I'm a certified music teacher in the state of Florida.
Very nice. Now, we've talked about what years of musical instruction can do. Have you seen anything when you're teaching kids that it is an immediate response, an aha moment for kids?
Yes, absolutely, all the time. And of course, it's fun. Music is absolutely, the most enjoyable thing. There's no kid that doesn't love music. And I think that's great to have in the school curriculum, something that the kids can get away to, have a little more exploration. They get to use their imagination, they get to use their creativity. And while they may not know it, but they're actually learning so much more and working on their math and reading skills as well.
Commissioner George Lindsay went on vacation to Viking Recycling in Lake Wales for a fire rescue demonstration of new technologies. Carol Kelli from the Fun-Aerospace Center for Excellence visited the studio and discussed with Commissioner Lindsay the financial benefits of the center has on Lakeland and Polk County. Commissioner Lindsay invited Polk County Assistant County Manager of Strategic Projects, Ryan Taylor, to discuss solutions being considered to meet our growing needs for water resources.
One of the training officers meet with you now, and we're going to put on some safety gear.
All right.
And we're going to have you them demonstrate how to use it and see if you could perform fire rescue personnel duties. To see if you could play first responder for right now.
Let's
All
do
right.
it. Thanks. I thought getting into rain gear for a motorcycle was a tough.
Yeah, but you got to do this in 60 seconds or less.
Oh my. All that.
You just pull that down. I've used that one before.
Okay. And then whenever we are,
just give them the added protection.
Commissioner Lindsay, we're going to have our guys here from Squad Special Operations 591. They're going to come in here and show you the way we use some of the new extrication gear that we have. Hopefully we'll find that brace. Okay. And now what we can do is we can back this out and we can actually use the cutters. So I'll take this for you. Stuck in there. There we go.
My fun meter's pegged.
All done? Can be very difficult, right?
Yes. You really got to be in shape to handle it.
It's tough.
No one has any idea how physically exhausting this is. It really looks easy standing 15 or 20 feet away. But that equipment is very heavy, very bulky, very sensitive. The gear, the protective gear, does its job, but it also traps this Florida heat. This is exhausting. I have a new appreciation for what these guys go through and gals every day, and we're going to keep giving the support they need to do their job. And Polk County, through our sports marketing and tourist development committees, and it really is a huge economic boon to the area and draws attention to Central Florida and Polk County and the aviation industry here, which is becoming a much more viable, integral part of our industry to help diversify. And just as a resident, long before being on the commission, enjoying either the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, or there's a Canadian team here a few years ago.
Yes, there was, as well as the Breitling Jet team. Yes.
So it's a fun event, and it's a win-win-win-win-win situation.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize what all goes on the Son of Fun Expo campus, which is also known as now as our Aerospace for Excellence core part of the program for the Polk County Public Schools. We have the Central Florida Aerospace Academy is right there on site, the Lakeland Aero Club, which is the largest high school flying club in the country. And as you said, the scholarships that go into enabling young adults to take part in aerospace type activities, whether it be, yes, getting your pilot's license, getting your airframe and power plant certification, you're not only positioning them to be productive citizens as they grow older and look for careers in the area of what should be, but also at the same time they're learning production skills to be self-reliant, to be a good citizen, to give back. So whether they take those skills directly within aerospace and aviation, or whatever path they choose to go down in the future, goes very well and plays back right into being a productive citizen in the county. Yeah.
Well, I had the privilege of attending the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on campus here a few weeks ago, and the point was made that the Center for Excellence has become the hub for an aviation influence industry in Central Florida. Mm-hmm. As part of that, our airport partners in municipalities around Bartow, Winter Haven, Lake Wales, I guess, mm-hmm. Will also have benefit from the Sun and Fun event, because we simply can't accommodate all the private craft that come in for this event. And so that benefits the entire regional area.
Commissioner Melanie Belle, now State Representative Melanie Belle, spoke with Polk Transportation Planning Organization's Ryan Kordek about the trail system in Polk County, upcoming trail projects, and the trail system's benefits to Polk County residents and the local economy. Senator Kelli Stargel also visited our studios to speak with Commissioner Belle about the Central Polk Parkway project and other issues of local impact. And there are bike clubs out there. All kinds of people get together to use the trails in Polk County.
They meet. You'll see them regular. If you see a whole pack coming, it's usually a bike club. Saturday mornings, they have rides on the Fort Fraser Trail. I see, on early Saturday mornings, or a couple of days during the week, they're out on our trails using it.
So it's not just families. I mean, it's a good way for single people to meet.
Absolutely.
People. Very nice.
Think about, there's a family that's going to come in and look at our trails. They've looked at the maps, and they come over from another county, so they're tourism, we would think. And so they come in and they bring their bikes. So they're going to hop on one of our trails. They're going to maybe start in Lakeland and come through Bartow and maybe stop for lunch, maybe shop at our local stores. The economic benefit that it has is just twofold. But not only just economic, but also health. You know, Polk County is rated 9th in the country for obesity. And so if we can get more people out, not just riding on a bicycle, but you can also walk these trails. And it's a quality of life issue for everybody to get together, like you said earlier, you know, socially, to meet on the trail. And you know, people were talking about Lake Hollingsworth earlier, you know, everybody, the neighborhood's meeting down and before they, you know, start their riding. You know, it's a meeting place.
Yeah, and there are specific health benefits to getting out in the sunshine, in nature, and enjoying yourself.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't go to the gym because it's just a square box that's kind of boring. If you were to go out onto a trail, you could bring a camera, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
the wildlife is
Yes.
unbelievable what you see there.
So what are some of the new projects? What's coming soon to Polk County?
Yeah, I think a really exciting project that's been planned for a number of years, but you can actually hike or bike a portion of it today, and that's the Panther Point Trail, kind of in central Polk County. It's a trail along the east and southeast shore of Lake Hancock, one of the largest lakes in Polk County. And the trailhead currently for that project is in the Marshall-Hampton Preserve, just off of Thornhill Road, right off of Winter Lake Road and the Polk Parkway, kind of that area. And that right now is a 5-mile unpaved trail that you can, you know, bike on. You can certainly hike, you know, walk, run, whatever you'd like to do. But the plans are to later this year provide a connection from that trail all the way around the south shore of Lake Hancock to connect to the Fort Fraser Trail. It'd be upwards of an 8-mile trail one way then. And I've been on the trail myself. If you haven't been on it, it's one of the more, I think, striking trails from a landscape standpoint. The views through the cypress trees along the shore, looking across upwards of 2 miles of open water. It's unlike a lot of things in Polk County, so it almost reminds me of being in the Florida Keys, frankly, because you've got so much water east and west of you, and you're on a narrow strip of land going between these water bodies for upwards of 2 or 3 miles. So it's unlike anything else we really have in Polk County. And that trail, the second part that I talked about, that second part, it'll be under construction later this year, and it's planned to open roughly fall of 2018. It'll be open.
Okay. I mean, at 8 miles, that's a day trip. Pack a lunch, that sounds beautiful. A lot of this projected growth that they're talking about is going to happen in the east side of the county, and we're already seeing some of that, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And that's why we need to plan for infrastructure for our roads and sewage plants, water plants and all. And that's why we brought in Senator Stargel today so we could talk to her and let her explain to us how this process is and the partnerships that we have between the county and the state and federal of how we bring the funding here to Polk County to build these roads. And we were very fortunate this year that our legislators in Tallahassee funded part of the project, the beginning of the project for the Central Polk Parkway. And we're very thankful to Kelli Stargel and appreciate Senator being here. And if you can tell us a little bit of how the appropriations comes about and how did you land this great deal for us?
Sure. Well, last year we started on the process with getting the $7.5 million for the Polk Bartow connector, and then the county kind of reorganized and decided another way that they wanted to go, which would be much more beneficial to the county, would be the Central Polk Parkway. So this year we were able to secure another $15 million to deal with that. And it's going to be a great benefit to our county, hopefully. In fact, just coming in here today, seeing the number of trucks that are going through the intersection there at 60 and 98 is incredible. And hopefully once we get this completed and working with the county to get that done, we'll be able to see that truck traffic divert up, get on the Polk Parkway, and be able to get to the interstates and the various things designed for that much better than going through our cities.
Excellent. Now, that kind of growth, that's also going to impact our representation in state government as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They're anticipating, depending on the census that we're about to do in 2020, it's been estimated that we may have an additional 2 more congressional seats in the state of Florida, which is Our state is growing, and we've known that for some time. And so we're trying to be as best stewards as we can with the dollars that we have. And obviously this last session, Polk County put in a plan and said, in talking to the county, this is how we want to appropriate those dollars. And we we moved and diverted as well in Tallahassee and made sure that we all work together to get this funding that's going to be critical for our county to make sure that we have thought through and planned how to best grow with the growth that's happening in Polk County.
Commissioner Bill Braswell discussed a town hall meeting held in the Inwood community. Speakers at the event included senior management from the Polk County Board of County Commissioners and the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Fire Chief Anthony Stravino and Commissioner Braswell discussed how the Polk County Fire Rescue paramedics are assisting with the new Helping Hands program and the new Pulse Point app. The first speaker that night was Sheriff Grady Judd, and he had some good news.
Yeah, he's a good draw. He brings the crowd in, and I asked him to open up for us, and basically what he was there to talk about is the police presence. We have a substation that we located in Inwood back when there was a lot more crime issues going on there. And he just basically kind of walked through how we got there with the substation and what they're doing to crack down on crime.
Mm-hmm. And it was good news not only for Inwood, but for Polk County. The crime is down.
Yeah. Well, crime is down everywhere. But that area particularly had some pretty bad drug crime and stuff like that in the past. They've really cracked down on that and kind of cleaned it up.
Roads and drainage. Jay Jarvis was there.
Sure.
He was there to talk, but more importantly, he was there to listen.
Yeah, I had talked to Mr. Beasley about bringing in all the department heads because you could cut through the red tape that way. You could go, okay, I have this problem, and you're the guy at the top of the ladder here to fix it. And that's how you get things done. And so that works out really well. And we had all the department heads there. We also had the Department of Health there. They were giving out free flu shots. Yep. Lori Edwards' office was there registering voters. It was a good turnout, and it was an event that you could get something done at.
Absolutely. Jeff Spence was there from Parks and Recreation. I was really surprised to learn that as an urban neighborhood, Inwood was closer to more parks than any other area in Polk County. So Helping Hands, how did this program come about?
Okay, what the Sheriff's Office found out is that a lot of the inmates in the jail system that have abuse problems, either mental health abuse problems or substance abuse problems, tend to come back as repeat customers. And it's very costly in the jail system to house them a day, give them their medicine, give them their food. So in cooperation with Indigent Health and Polk County Fire Rescue, we identified this need and said, is there some way we could figure out a way to prevent these people from going back to jail and helping them become productive citizens? So over the last 7 or 8 months, we decided we were going to start this program called Helping Hands with our community paramedics. Our community paramedics are a new initiative that the Board of County Commissioners authorized, where we're trying to reduce the repeat customers in various different levels, and our first foray into this is with the mental health customer out of the jail. So what's going to happen is the Sheriff's Office is going to identify inmates that they think would be practical for this program, and we would introduce them to a community paramedic within 48 hours of their discharge. And that community paramedic would then go in, bring them their prescribed drugs, make sure that they understand how to use them, when to use them, simple things like that people take for granted that they don't really know. So we're going to make sure that they do that, and then we're going to do follow-up visits every 24 hours or so to make sure they're taking their meds. And a lot of them need help getting channeled into social services, employment recommendations. So we're going to be like an information base for them as well, besides the medical end of this, where we can say, okay, we think you need some help finding some employment, so we're going to turn you on to this job source.
Another new initiative right now, Pulse Point. What is that? What is that about?
Well, it's where basically it exists already in a lot of communities, and it's where you've been in a restaurant and you're sitting there, you're eating lunch or whatever. You see the ambulance pull up across the street and they run in and they help somebody, and maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're somebody who could have saved that person, or certainly could have been there a lot quicker. It's basically an app that ties in with our 911 system, and when the call comes in, somebody's choking or somebody's having a heart attack or something like that, it alerts you. Now you have to will be vetted by you.
Through the software program.
Yeah, the people will be vetted to make sure they legitimately know what they're doing. But it would alert everybody in that area that this is happening. And it may be at the table next to you or across the room or whatever, but it allows somebody who can save somebody's life to get there a lot quicker. The ambulance, it's going to be there in 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes, whatever it takes, depending on traffic and all that. But once they get there, they'll take over. But in the meantime, maybe somebody like a doctor could be helping you out.
Commissioner John Hall explained both the new graduate medical education program at Winter Haven Hospital and the new behavioral health programs funded by the Indigent Healthcare half-cent sales tax. Special guest Sheriff Grady Judd and Commissioner Hall spoke about the School Safety Guardian program. Now we're going to talk about the School Guardian program, which was Polk County's response to a tragedy in Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. With us are Commissioner John Hall and Sheriff Grady Judd.
How are you today?
Thank you. How are you?
Very well.
We'll jump right in if you don't mind. You put the call out to fill 90 positions at the 85 elementary schools in Polk County. Now 400 people applied, which is terrific. 400 people wanted to help. But not everybody who wants to help can help. So if you would, tell us a little bit about the testing and the training that people had to go through.
Only 16% of the people that applied passed. And here's what we found. When you give detailed backgrounds, psychologicals, drug screens, and then 144 hours of training in the summer heat where they have to shoot and show proficiency, you know that you have well-trained guardians. In fact, we requested and required that the guardians have even more training in the discipline of firearms than even a state-certified law enforcement officer has to have. And in addition to that, they have to qualify at 5 points higher than a certified law enforcement officer. So when you see a guardian on your school campus, you know that they've met the highest level of training and they've met the highest quality of person. And that's important because they're near our children and we want to make sure that they're capable of keeping our children safe, and they are.
That guardian interacts with the students. He knows the students by name, he gets to know them, and they get to know him. And nothing but the highest praise from that mother. But now I have some questions also, Sheriff, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You had mentioned the high proficiency in firearms training, and just kind of went over the psychological aspect of it. What are you looking for in someone that you're going to be putting in that type of situation? First of all, and then as far as the firearm training and all the other training that they had, was that just a one-time deal, or like your deputies, do they have to come back and qualify every year?
Sure. You know, what's important to remember is that the training and the responsibility for the guardians is not less than for a law enforcement officer. Really, it's more. They have to do quarterly training, and they have to qualify on the range twice a year. But what's really interesting about that is I had a principal stop me the other night and say, "You have no idea how much we appreciate the guardians."
The new graduate medical education program at Winter Haven Hospital. This program will bring more family practice resident physicians to our area. By investing $3.75 million in this program over the next 3 years, Winter Haven Hospital will employ 45 full-time employees, including the resident physicians. This will result in approximately 14,000 patient visits annually. These services will include unfunded and underfunded medically vulnerable patients.
It's a great program. Polk County is a medically underserved community as a whole. And we need to be able to find some way, and hopefully this is one of them, that we can bring doctors, physicians into our community and let them spend their residency here, and afterwards, hopefully if they have gotten a taste of Polk, they'll want to stay.
Well, that was our 2018 Commissioner's Report Year in Review. As you can see, it was a busy year, and 2019 looks to be just as busy. We look forward to hearing from our two new commissioners, learning a little more about them, and what issues and aspects of Polk County are important to them and to their constituents. Have a safe and happy New Year, and we'll see you again in 2019.